Why is this game not wanting to launch? What's happening here? Here we go. Beginner's Guide. I have played this many years ago and I loved it. Obviously this is made by the Stanley Parable developer, which I believe Stanley Parable is I'm not playing with controller. Stanley Parable is the much more popular like sister game to this. This is more, and I'm assuming that's because this is much more of a narrative focus, while while Stanley Parable is a genuine fucking game where you have agency and choices. Not so much with this. This is a genuine, like, just an interactive narrative, an interactive story or video, like interactive essay in a way, even with fictionalized parts, of course. Yes, I do want captions. But yeah, I remember loving this because it is such a cool narrative about the art and passion of game design itself. But again, it's been many years. I remember only bits of this and I've been meaning to play it again for a long time. So here that is. Let's see if this hits the same way as it did back then.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
God.
It's a level for Counter-Strike.
Yes!
Walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator.
No run.
I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is.
God, I love
and that's exactly what we're going
the
to
old
do.
Counter-Strike 1.6 aesthetic and it being used in
2008,
video games.
Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger.
I don't remember how much of this is actually fictionalized or if this is genuine story.
If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com.
I'm also already wondering how much, if there are any like secrets hidden in the maps that open up.
This first one was made in November.
Like side corridors aside from the actual narration. But yeah, I love this idea of looking at game design at like different maps from a real or fictional game designer. I don't know what is the actual case, but just like seeing that development by, you know, going from creation to creation, from map to map through different video games, and like seeing the development over time. That's such a fun thing. And the great writing from the guy here. Whisper Machine.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Interesting. Like, I mean, this is the... I must assume that this is a fictionalized story. This Coda guy probably never existed. And these creations, these levels are just made for this narrative. I hardly believe that this is actually genuine shit that the narrator scraped up from an old hard drive and made functional for this narrative. It seems so unlikely. This has to be a fictional thing. But then it is interesting from that angle how things are designed, how these environments are designed to cater to this narrative. And I guess this is supposed to be an enemy.
Like this game was abandoned mid-development.
Yeah.
For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly...
Oh, I'm actually running out of...
You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought actually it was complete the way that it is.
Like, these unfinished game maps have to be designed for the narrative in a way that they look authentically unfinished and that sort of stuff. Even that angle is like interesting to me.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
And like these fucking details. I mean, the beginner's guide is already like a bit older, and at this point, in at least PC indie games have explored everything and anything. But like, I think especially at the time of this release, like this like intentional looking at the seams and shit of game design, and especially like familiar game engines, or at least something that feels like that, is so fucking fun to me and so exciting. Still. I love that shit. I love that shit, man.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
No, I wanna know if there are any actual... Okay. Keep in mind this is by the Stanley Parable creator.
Or if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
We actually got dynamic stuff if you decide to do something like this. So there is a chance that there is actually like some hidden shit around the map if you actively like walk away from the narrative. And the game is expecting that and acting accordingly, which is super cool. Now, is there actually anything in this maze? Who the fuck knows? Especially now I'm realizing now I fucked myself because I'm not gonna get transported to the exit again, probably, and now I actually have to find my way around if I wanna go back to the actual, you know, point of progress. I actually found my way back to the beginning, which is fun. I wonder if the narrator is at some point they're gonna go, okay, you've stumbled around here, now I'm gonna move you forward again, I'm gonna teleport you again or something. I wonder if that happens at some point. Genuinely doesn't seem like there's actually... Okay, so I did find the exit. Genuinely doesn't seem like there's actually any hidden secret or whatever. But that is the thing. That's gonna be fun throughout this replay. Because I really don't think when I played this the first time that I looked for anything like that, and probably really just followed the narrative straight up. So that might be actually a fun thing. And yeah, I also don't remember any details of the narrative, so that's gonna be cool to see if that hits the same way. Like, I don't remember entirely what the final bottom line is, the actual point of all of this narrative. I think it all accumulates in like a whole like community aspect, showcasing the impact of somebody's video game creation on two people and that sort of stuff. I have a vague memory of like a final room with floating comments from online community members about one of Coda's creations or something. I feel like that was kind of the finale at the end. But I'm not really sure. I only have two memories of this. It's that, and there's later gonna be, yeah, I don't think there's any secrets in this labyrinth. And there's like, I have a specific memory of like a house, like a modern house, a building in the middle of nowhere that was made for like Counter-Strike Source or something. That's like the two memories I have of this.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper Machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
I love this.
Hey!
I love this so much.
You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper Machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask.
A body?
For all of our lives. Would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Truly hard-hitting, deep, philosophical concepts here in this video game. I cannot stop like talking about how much I love this interactive narration about game design.
This is not
that
a
is
branching
so
point.
cool.
Unfortunately, the only option... Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing
point of
this
view.
level. But when he
Point of view
first
from
compiles
Source.
and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
I wondered if there would be more voice lines if I had not walked into this, since it did seem to trigger one line. So this is what happens. Does he want me to go in there again? Looks like it. What if I hesitate this time? What if I walk around? What if I pace around? Nah, I guess this time it's legit just waiting for me to jump in. Fair enough. Oh! Oh my god, man. Intentional out of bounds shit, and you do see the maze.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife.
Such an authentic way as well to show like what a video game map actually looks like.
I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making
such a good
this,
showcase.
something lodges itself in his
natively
brain.
in this
He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
I wonder how much of... Wow, the back rooms or some shit. I wonder how much there is of... autofiction in here. Like, how much of this fictitious narrative is just based on the developer's own past and what he
So try walking
fucked around with as a kid. Oh, what?
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I didn't even try to walk forwards. What is up with that?
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Did I hear something? Oh.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Invisible Wall. This is giving Slender vibes, of course, with much harsher visual limit though. Oh, entering what?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting. Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Forget this.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
All of this is
I know
so
it's tempting, but
authentic
there's
though.
actually nothing over here. Sorry.
Oh, see some dynamic narration again. All of this is so authentic though. Like this is genuine. Like there's audio going on. This is genuine like shit that you would find on like Game Jolt or like itch.io. This is like this would not at all be out of place in one of these places. These just some early fucking build of an interactive nothingness. So fucking genuine, so authentic. That is an art in itself to get that. Can't jump on the railing. Oh, I see.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
I'm curious about something else now though. I heard sounds down here. What were they? Are they just from inside of this thing? I don't hear him now. I thought I heard like faint voices or something. Maybe it's just part of the ambient noise. I don't know. Okay, let's actually go up there.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games. Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
I wanted to read these ideas. What the fuck? Also the blank room. Or the concrete. Yeah, these are some more like Source-esque textures. And the misaligned shit here. Yeah, it's straight up Source inspired textures.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
What's with the rain sounds? A puzzle? What's the puzzle part? Still looking for secrets. I guess opening this door is the puzzle. I mean, you could trap yourself in there, and I feel like that's probably gonna be it. Something's gonna happen. Oh, yeah.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
And what is up with these things? This is the second time we see these dots, so they have to have a meaning. They have to mean something. Let me see some options here. What can you actually do? Interact is E or mouse 1. Okay, and that seems to generally be it. There's no run or something. It's like genuine, the most basic first person. But this has to be something. It's the second time. That means something. I know that has to mean something. That is a look at how this texture is like. If I'm standing far away, that texture is standing out very strongly. What is this? I don't know. I really feel like that's something. Some secret of the narrative. But I wonder.
So that seems to be it, right?
Dead end.
You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Okay. From this room only. Here we go. Fuck me, man.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Yeah, what is it? Gotta do obligatory backwards. Nope. The check. We're now exiting.
So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow.
Oh,
It could
okay.
even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
March 2009. I still love this game and I'm barely in it. The Great and Lovely Descent. This is not the house that I remember. It's gonna be later. The house that I remember is a more modern house in like a green environment. Like a Counter-Strike Go kind of house.
Let's talk about video game
Style.
development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do.
Source engine name drop, are we gonna get
In
it?
other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Yeah.
To make all of these games, Coda is
Source!
using an engine called Source.
I love that it is named by
Source has
name.
certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly.
Love
One of the
that
things
so
that it does
much.
very well is boxy linear corridors.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
yeah.
so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love that. This is like
Tools available to the creator shape what kinds of
actually,
creative work
genuinely-
you're gonna end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's
like
games,
interactively
because notice how they
showing you one of the most
engine is
important
very good at producing
engines in
linear
PC
boxy
video game
corridors.
design. It's so fucking cool. Like this is fictional narrative aside. This is genuinely such a cool fucking essay / visual interactive showcase of a genuinely important video game engine. That this is like genuinely, I wanna say, inspiring and intellectually like educational even for anyone who is interested in video game design and the history of it. Fictional narrative around it or not. This is so fucking cool. Right, I guess we don't have another choice. We are supposed to go into the basement there. Oops. Also, I don't actually think this game is running on the Source engine. I really doubt that. I think this is literally all just made to look like it. Yeah, no, even like I think one of the one of the clear hallmarks of that is, or like one of the clear elements of recognizing that is just that the crouch jump does not work in this game. Jumping and crouching does not get you on platforms that are just out of reach, like in the actual Source engine, where that's an essential element of it. Unfortunately, that is not authentic. What's it? Oh, we can actually. Sure, okay. Door stuck. Yeah, I think there's some. Oh no, we can go here. Okay. Anyway, yeah, all of these color, the gray shades and the orange, that is all very hallmark Source engine default texture styling. Dude, I love that so fucking much. I love that so fucking much. I could just stray off this intended path. Which is interesting. Another like environment where there might be some secrets hidden if you do the right platforming. Nothing that jumps out to me though. You know, I could slowly make my way down that, but I don't know if there's actually any point to it. And he's also not talking, which is the most surprising thing to me. Yeah, I'm very surprised that there's no narration during this. It's like a Roblox obby in here. It's a reference for Gen Alpha. This is generally wrap around the whole thing, yeah. It's like it. Fair enough, okay. And this digital brutalist architecture is a whole fucking aesthetic in itself. Fuck, that's so good. Actually, what up? What's the screenshot button again? Don't remember. What is the screenshot button? That's not it. I don't even know what I did there. Whatever. I'm not gonna hunt for random keys on my keyboard. Music change. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is my cell. Oh. Nice. What if I don't, though? Oh, invisible wall. Invisible wall. Fair enough.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
That's
If you
awesome.
don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
That is awesome.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Slidey floor. This is just general momentum. I think that's just... No, I think it actually is a bit slidey on there. I don't know. Yeah, okay. There's that again. I really feel like the developer is hiding something here to look out for. Like this is some part of some secondary adventure or whatever. Some secrets, maybe. It really feels like that. But maybe not. Maybe we are just supposed to recognize it as a calling card of this fictional developer whose maps we are walking through, and that's it. Maybe there's nothing more to it.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
Gonna do some playtesting first before I move on.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
We gotta look outside, hold on. We gotta see that skybox and the edges of it. Yeah, you can still see the floor at the edge of the skybox. It's not actual Source Engine, but this is a Source Engine ass fucking environment. I love that so much. Yeah, even the text.
Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he.
Oh yeah, this is so Source Engine inspired. Holy fuck, I love that.
Buttons on your keyboard to respond.
That's so fucking cool, man. A world step of whiteness, an enormous prison that spent hours in. Floating color blocks. Well, I guess all of these are true. Now, obviously, one would be the obvious answer. That is the truth. What is there actually any change? Like, if you lie? I could see how any dialogue would end up in that or a similar thing. Wow. Immediate shot. Oh. Okay. Logan. Oh, we actually get to try things out. Is different. Okay. Wow. Okay. I mean, I did explore that.
One last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Is this real? Is the stairwell real? If there's one thing about these types of games, like Stanley Parable, etc., then it's to never trust a spiral stairwell. Like, more often than not. Like, there's no reason here for this to not be real, and it isn't. It is real, obviously. But more often than not, in these types of games, there's something to be found if you go back up. I feel. Oh my god.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
I'm actually excited I don't remember all these details. I actually do not remember what it is that is building up to. Sure. Oh, is this what I remember as the finale? Is it not actually the finale? Like the notes system is what I remember, a final room, like a cave or something, with all of these notes. Maybe this is just introducing that feature for the first time. And the finale that I remember is still the finale later on. Yeah, like all of these bubbles floating around. Nice room, not. So now we get into the developer having to write authentic online comments.
This game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda.
This is
actually the first game of his that I ever played.
Excuse me.
This was shortly after I met him at a weekend
game jam,
where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
I see.
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit trying to get his attention. I was over enthusiastic, but he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually.
So this is not even the developer of Beginner's Guide writing fake online comments. This is the fictional character in the narrative of this game writing fake online comments. That's so cool. Yeah, this sort of like a kind of cave with all these messages is what I remember as the finale. Am I misremembering that then? Now this seems to have a linear path. Or does it? Like it wants to make me walk through there. But I wonder if I should actually just jump down or whatever. Oh no, there's an invisible wall. Okay, there we go. So that's not even an option. You are funneled through this very specific path. Okay. So the narrative is forced upon you.
Feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me, that I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
balls. What the shit? What the frickity frick? Was this before Dark Souls? This might have been like pretty much around the same time. Now I'm curious. Because Dark Souls is like one of the main games I think about with having like this sort of gamer interaction. Dark Souls release 2011. Yeah, Beginner's Guide came out way later. Way fucking later. 2015. Actually, that's only 4 years later, but that fits very well. This part of the narration or the narrative might generally be like inspired by the Dark Souls comment system and whatnot. And maybe there are other games that did this. It also has a bit of styling of the floating bubbles of the actual Valve developer commentary on things like Portal and stuff, which I want to say the first Portal at least was made in Source, or maybe I'm wrong about that actually. Either way, it would still fit because that it is Valve. It would either be Source or whatever the engine after it was called. Successor engine. What was the Source successor engine called? I actually don't know, which is weird to me. I help people because of the internal good feeling. Room. I do feel like this sort of note system in a video game. Oh, I want to read that one so badly. Even like back in the day as a child, I thought that was a cool idea. And nowadays we have a bunch of games that do this, obviously. Not just Dark Souls, of course. But it's also not like... Obviously the novelty is one of. This specific game, it's still helpful and interesting, of course. But also there's of course a limit to how exciting this is, especially in the world of too many voices. Let's go. I like how these walkways down there are like literally not textured at all. I mean, they are with a gray flat texture, but you know what I mean. Cabbage shapes our nation. Cool. I wonder if that's like an Avatar The Last Airbender reference. Yeah, there's a lot of cabbage in that. I wonder if I read every one of these the first time I played this. I do not know. Still hoping for like a hole in the invisible wall or something. I had Brussels sprouts today and they are making their mark now. What you should know. That would be my comment here. That would be my note in this video game. I'm not safe. Yeah, but I do remember an environment like this. I guess maybe that was not the finale. Maybe it generally is this thing going on right now that I'm remembering ethical. Ethical invisible walls. Would be actually cool if the beginner's guide developer would put like a little freakazoid walking around that you probably would miss, but you know, to give it a bit of a spook with this comment. Neville Tower Star. So this is supposed to be a developer creating this world and creating this fake commentary. So this is a commentary by a developer in 2009 about commentary. If you're staying inside of the terms of the fictional narrative. If you're moving outside of this fictional narrative, then this is a commentary by a real developer on commentary performed by a fake developer about commentary from gamers. Three levels there. We sure will all die. Again, the cabbage. I think that's the first one that repeats. This is actually making me wonder now if, you know, in terms of the beginner's guide, if all of these comments are randomized or fixed. Although, I mean, some of these are actually like commenting on what is close to them, so I guess they cannot all be randomized. Again? What? Well, that is actually kind of throwing me off now. Why are they duplicates and so close to each other? Cool. Now we are going into the flat texture world.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you.
This is also a duplicate. Okay, well.
Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
I generally believe I was not supposed to read every single one of these. Also, see there's the thing again. Also, could imagine that like a bunch of these are randomized and that's why there's duplicates, and then a couple are like precisely placed. I could see that. Like in terms of the beginner's guide, I could see that being the case.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
I wanna break this game so badly. I wanna jump out of where it wants me to be. Even these two, I doubt they were consciously placed as duplicates next to each other.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Source Engineer's hallway. God, that sound fucking scared the shit out of me. Pawn Stars Die 2.
It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
What the fuck are you? This reminds me of a point-and-click game I played before. Not a point-and-click game. An escape room game on itch.io that I played before. Very, very similar aesthetic. Source Engineers. I mean, this generally does look in many places like random ass maps people made for Counter-Strike Source and the like. Like, it's so fucking authentic in that way. In a lot of ways. And it's not even running in Source Engine. It's awesome. I love that shit. It is not even running in Source Engine. Oh, this is a... Oh, okay. But this was gonna become an endless hallway or something. There we go.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay.
I think I'm gonna see
version 2.
the house soon that I remember. Wow. Ah, damn. Like a washing machine. Okay. No. Oh, I can walk on it before it appears. Skylight. What? Thinking 10 by 12 recessed electric 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. We put live Tesla coils. Tables were invented in 1945. Imagine that. Little known fact.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Yeah.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Jesus Christ. me with this again. I swear to fucking stop. So now we are actually like this is gonna be an escape room, I guess. Right. With instructions. Go over the photo frame, click it to turn it slightly. Turn the floor lamp off. And turn it back on, I believe. Yeah. Now go to left side and move it over a little. Finally touch the shelves. Can I do anything else and disobey? It's just... No, none of that is gonna have an effect. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. It's awesome.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Oh, that's so good. So
Here's
good.
a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well.
Oh.
And a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Okay. Very dark, very dank. Even the broken lighting is like super close to actual Source Engine. Invisible wall. That noise. Walking along an invisible wall, you are locked in here. Whoa.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering, did this game release on other platforms? Stanley Parable is on other shit. Did the Beginner's Guide get on fucking Nintendo consoles or whatever? Because this wouldn't read the same way. Since this is obviously so closely knit towards the Source Engine. Which I guess technically has been on consoles as well. You've left the Half-Life port or whatever on Xbox, I don't know. But Yeah, I guess maybe it does work, but it just feels like much more authentic in a PC environment. I really wonder how this would read to like casual console gamers. I don't know if they would like really understand what this is all about. Not in terms of the story, but more in terms of the technical details and what it's all referencing. Deep, bro, deep.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Empty promises.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
There it is. That is the house that I remember. Although I do not remember it being in like a snow environment. This looks so fucking awesome though. This looks so good. But yeah, that is the house that I remember. That is like the one of the two memories that I have of this game.
To me,
Jesus
this
Christ, this
environment
looks
is
good.
meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Sure. Whoa. Ah, okay, there. A hole in the world. Now you're supposed to go inside, obviously. What if I don't, though? What's out here?
Just so you're aware, nothing will happen up here until you've been inside the house.
You say that, but I'm not really trusting you 100%. You are, after all, the developer of Stanley Parable. To be fair, so far it has been truthful from all that I can tell at least. When he says like, "This is not doing anything, stop wasting your time." But you never fucking know. You can never know for real, for real. Hold on. Can you not jump here? No, you're sliding too much. Oh, dude, okay, shit, that's so close. See if you could crouch jump. This would be easier. But I have a feeling like he knew what he was doing, the developer. And this is just not supposed to be possible. Dude, that is so fucking close. I can taste it. It's just, you have to jump before you start sliding down. That's really tricky. And that seems to be like just on the edge of the possible. I mean, granted, there's most likely nothing on there. Oh my god, what the fuck? Oh my god. crouch jump. You could absolutely get up there. Oh my god. I'm gonna give it like 2 more tries, and then I'm good. And with a try, I actually mean a jump. 1 more try. No. Okay, whatever. Okay. Wow. Before I go interact with that weirdo, I do want to check out the bookshelf, to be honest, because it seems like they put actual books here, although they are so insanely blurry that you can literally not make out any of them. Except for, I guess, colored guards. Dude, I love this so much. Dude, a bathtub with a fucking ceiling window. Oh my god. Lonesome Hands McLousy.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on.
Yeah, right.
From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Okay. Don't worry about me, a place this nice. I'll be glad to stay all night. Lousy home loners. Are we cleaning? I guess. You can already see what we're gonna do. It's a story, little one. Clear the table. Run into the bedroom and make the bed. Ginormous fucking fridge, dog. Does this... Wait, this is not... There's no door here. There's no doors anywhere, I guess. I want to straighten out the rug. Sure. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? How do you end up doing this job? This is a job? It's been a long time since I've seen a house this messy. Sure. Next is probably gonna be that spill, but I don't see anything else. Yeah. If you're compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. Sure. This giant kitchen. A stove top. And a fridge, but no fucking dishwasher? Are you shitting me? Actually insane to me. But a tub. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is the same rug. They got it up. They're similar. Cleaning the fucking tub. Fuck that. Hooks on the floor of the bedroom? This? Sure. Orchid Thief. See, this is... The Orchid Thief is the book the Nicolas Cage movie adaptation is based around.
It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
What? I missed the first sentence of it. The first half of the sentence. What the fuck was he talking about? How about you come and clean these dishes? Oh, we're doing this again? We're starting. But this is already done.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
I could see why this is one of the more memorable places. Not only because it's visually memorable after all of the blank texture locations, but also because you actually do something here. Like you have much more agency interaction than in most bits so far.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
No TV inside. Just lots of space.
But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
I wonder what's actually behind that door. Yeah, I'm just noticing that the walls are gone. And I walked through the door. That's funny. Actually. I love this place. So dope. That is the end.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
September 2009. Items you love at the members only prices.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts. And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Oh my god. Fucking love that second answer here. Second line of text.
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
2010.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
This is giving me brutal, superliminal vibes. That's the game. That was an incredible game. Non-functioning leathers in the source engine. Crazy. Actually crazy. The scene you will be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on and say something. Where the bathroom at? Stop dancing around and have a conversation. Yeah. Interesting. Oh wow. Interesting. Interesting functionality, yeah. I bet you learned to lean into the pain. You freak out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Stepping back from the stage? Oh. Alright.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with his person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
And it was Minecraft. Mobius Trap. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Audio only? No. Why? Okay. The fucking door. Okay. 5 months, eh?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
There's a solution. The only solution is to say something that is honest. Sincere. Honest.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Yeah, 2010 not a good year for this guy. Pretty neat. I would kind of love a game, like a full game with this aesthetic. These like islands, these green islands of nature in a completely artificial white void. Like there might be a neat environment for, I don't know, fucking 3D platformer or something. Where the environment is constantly shifting and shit. We haven't seen that in a while.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet.
I was not supposed to go back.
So he didn't have
my God.
outside of himself to
That's
connect.
awesome.
He had no outlet to
I
ground
was
himself
not
on.
supposed to go back. Awesome. I feel like there's two choices here. I don't know if it matters. You could keep explaining this while actually walking through, or you could just wait here and not go through. Or maybe not. Did I? Here we go. I guess you have to actually perform it. You have to move. Okay.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Sound effects. You have to say the game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. Oh my god.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Okay.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Machine. Okay. Let's get back at the door, huh? Well. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived. Is Coda a gal? But I feel like the narrator kept using he. Pretty sure. Odd. Okay.
And of course, it's the machine.
The engine that they talked about earlier. Yes. I don't remember this. That's wild. It's interesting to me that like I held this game in high regard and really I remember that being like really impressive and effective and all. I do not remember this actually quite dark narrative. Wow. It's so fucking cruel. All right. That's actually very cool.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you,
Yeah.
at the time that I
literally
shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
It's a power wash simulator. That is shut the fuck up.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
Can't do
It's
anything
the
here
thing that
except
I
shoot.
always feel like I need to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something. I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully.
What?
Beautifully happy.
What the fuck? No, now he's losing it? The narrator is? I don't. What the fuck is this?
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower. And to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made.
Well, shit.
So let's take a look.
This whole Odyssey spans over the span of like, what, 4 years? Back to the Source Engine color spread. Odd.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Kinda dope though. Kinda skibbity, kinda. Hold on.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Jesus Christ!
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible.
Holy
And then
fuck,
every
dude.
time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
I'm thinking if there are actually any like clues hidden here to solve this maze by yourself, or if it would generally just be trial and error. I'm sure there is an actual maze here that you could navigate. It's not just trickery. That is actually fucked up. Would love to see somebody on YouTube solve this maze. That's not gonna be me though. What is it? Enter? Yeah, okay. It's crazy. See, this is like modeled after Source Engine default textures. Maybe even 1-to-1 here.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
I don't know. A challenge, a rage bait challenge for YouTube content creators? Oh boy.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code.
That's awesome.
Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
15, 16, 17. Not even like a very random code.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary.
Game of the year,
idea
dog.
of Coda cutting himself off entirely. Just saying, that's it. That's the end of the conversation. Not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem.
I mean, it's not your responsibility, this person. Crazy. I like that they actually made this functional. Would love to trap myself in there. It might be possible. Oh yeah. Oh, it's definitely possible. I wanna know if that triggers like anything. It feels like it should be possible. Like I'm right at the door. Maybe there's an invisible wall that happens. Yeah, maybe it's not possible. It feels like it is.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
Yes.
And he wouldn't.
What, dude? At least the 3 dots got acknowledged here in this narrative. Wonder if that has an answer somewhere hidden in this. What the fuck?
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
I love this architecture. Pretty good, pretty good.
Where did I screw up?
I'm not entirely sure why you're making it your problem. You wanted to be someone else? See yourself in somebody else?
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Pushing your expectations on his creativity. Sure.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
What's that? Feels a bit like entitlement towards somebody else's creation as well, like that sort of thing. Commentary on that. Which could even work for player and game developer relationship in a more, you know, traditional sense. Fans not being happy with what
the people
are
who
making.
Played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Stop. The lampposts are not even Coda's thing. Hold the fucking phone. What is this about? I need the narrator to actually acknowledge this. Since the narrator made this up to be such an integral part of Coda's development.
And then you stopped. And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing.
Jesus
Less
Christ.
than nothing. What does that mean?
This narrative is so fucking good, man. And I generally don't remember out of this. It's crazy. The way that this is just like fully like turning this entire narrative around, the entire story of this narrator being so worried about this guy called Coda and trying to do all these great things for them, even though like here it is revealed that Coda is actually very worried about the narrator and their freaking unhealthy antics. Very, very nice like switch up in the narration. Yeah.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
So fucking good, man. Actually so good. I was about to say, are we gonna stay in the dark between doors this time?
I'm
Yeah.
releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again.
Why am I moving?
I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in.
Oh.
I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you...
Pretty good voice acting if this is actually a developer.
That you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Christ almighty. Here we go. Is it gonna be the big comment cave that I remember? Or was it generally just a misremembering of an earlier thing?
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
I don't think this is the right platform I'm on. But they conveniently let you... No. Invisible wall, what? Why even leave this gap? Then. Does this texture actually loop? Like cleanly? It is completely off of anything, but yeah, no, it does repeat. There's no visual theme. That's impressive. That's actually impressive to me. Oh yeah, okay. Guess I figured. Right.
Solution.
That's cool. That is cool. I liked it a lot.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed.
Jesus Christ, man. This guy, this narrator.
He just likes making prisons.
What a thought. So I guess this is also about interpreting too much into simple private creations. Putting things on a pedestal that were not meant to be. I guess that's also a theme, yeah.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror. This is a good cave, man. Like I had a dream about a location like this before.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually...
That is so fucking sad.
That would be like.
That is actually so fucking sad, Jesus Christ. But I feel that in a different way than the narrator. I have been there in the past. Like, way in the past, thank fuck. Yeah, fuck external validation, dog. That cannot be your soul.
What
Pillar
now?
to stand on.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for.
Definitely.
So I'm just gonna...
The thought is funny that it's placed this way, as if the narrator is like literally leaving this production in the middle of you playing it, when this of course makes no sense in any sort of point of view. Since, after all, the creator has, even in the sense of the story, still compiled all of this and put it in stores to sell. So that kind of doesn't make sense in any way. Assuming you're supposed to go onto the platform there. And of course I first check out where I'm not supposed to be. Seems safe though. Seems like it was taken care of. I love this. When do you ever like play a game where this sort of shit is like part of the intended experience? Fuck, that's so good. It always gives me like some sort of fuzzy vibes. I love this shit. Again, I would love to know where my screenshot button is. I have no idea. What's of the texture fighting there? I guess it's only when you're far away. Hole. Holes. This hole belongs to me. This is my hole. I mean, do I enter or do I see what happens if I don't? Is there a choice? It makes more sense. Oh my god, there's a fucking laser from the space game early on. Which feels kind of dire, because the whole concept of that was that you sacrifice yourself to save the rest of the world. After all, this whole narrative about the crawl between narrator and coder, that seems a bit... you know... Oh yeah, right, the elevation thing. Oh, we don't get to see the map from outside? I would have loved that. Sure, that's fair. Shit, dog.
Turn back
4 hours. Shut the fuck up.
from this cave.
So there is actually a real story here that inspired this?
You said, let me
Damn.
prove
Also, this music is loud as fuck.
brave. Let me keep
I didn't expect to have a whole
but the
song.
cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired.
Yeah, this game still fucking rules,
I
man.
know that you're strong. So turn back. Turn back.
I think this is truly, I feel like in the current day of indie gaming, especially on PC, there has been plenty of games, and especially like little ones, that have explored these stories about game designers, about game design, things that happen between the lines when it comes to the video game world. Like, these things exist. Exploring the relationship between player and game designer and all of that sort of thing. We are having a bunch of media in that sense, but I still think the Beginner's Guide is most likely one of the most polished, complete experiences in that realm, and it still holds up. Like, this is, what did I say earlier? This was released in 2015 or something. It's 10 years old then now, and it still holds up incredibly well without losing any of its authenticity. Of course, it's a fully fictional like story and whatnot, but the entire like technical closeness to things like the Source engine that it's emulating for a lot of its maps and stuff is still holds up so well and is so like authentic enough to be generally engaging in that way. It's super cool. I love this. It's such an incredible setting to tell a story like that by going through what it presents as unfinished video games and self-made maps in an environment that has a long history in those things, being the like modding, the PC modding community, especially with Source Engine. That is a crucial element that made all of that possible. This is so good. As somebody who has played Counter-Strike 1.6 and Source and whatnot, and Garry's Mod, and has downloaded plenty and plenty of like self-made maps and mods and whatnot back in the day for those things, and even dabbled myself in some map creations in that engine using the Hammer editor, I think it was called back then. This feels completely right. And it is such an interesting exploration of all of these things, of like game designer thoughts and creativity and what we interpret into others' designs and the expectations that we put on others or expect or feel from others. All of these things. A very, very cool story told in an incredibly cool way that I just fucking love. This was my second playthrough, and it still held up immensely. Man, I love this game. Stanley Parable, again, of course, the more popular one, because that has actually more of a game in terms of choice and agency, while this is very much a linear story that is told to you. But I think in my heart of hearts, I do love Beginner's Guide even more than Stanley Parable, which is, Parable is an incredible game, but this is so close to my heart that I think I will always like actively recommend this one even more and with more enthusiasm than Stanley Parable. Everybody and their mom has played Stanley Parable anyway. Beginner's Guide probably not so much. I'm still unsure if there might not actually be a lot of secrets hidden around the place away from the narration. Clearly I couldn't find any of those, but I'm still not convinced there are not actually any at all. Anyway, yeah, okay. That was dope as fuck. Love this game. Glad I picked this up again after such a long time. So fun, guys.